Thanks for joining us this Sunday evening. I'm Mark Salinger.
And I'm Jennifer Meckles. New tonight, a family wants answers about what happened to a 14-year-old girl who was found dead after she was last seen in late January.
Tonight, her community held a vigil for her and to raise awareness of the ongoing issue of missing and murdered indigenous relatives. 9 News reporter Angeline McCall was there and is joining us live in the studio this evening. Angeline.
Mark, family says Emily Pike was a young girl who loved butterflies and art, and it's hard for them to imagine how this happened to her. She was last seen walking in Arizona a couple weeks later. Some of her remains were found, but other parts of her body were not. She has family here in Colorado. Her two aunts say their niece had her whole future ahead of her before it was stripped away.
She just liked to laugh, smile, quiet, very, Emily was her own person. And she was very sweet, kind-hearted, just like any other 10, 11, 12, 13, 14-year-old. She's very, a girl, basically.
We want justice for Emily and what happened to her. Justice needs to be served. Nothing like this should ever happen to anybody. And there's so many more of our relatives in our native country that still need justice as well.
People in Wheat Ridge hosted a vigil for Emily today to support the family and continue to raise awareness for the ongoing issue of missing and murdered indigenous relatives. Emily was a member of the San Carlos Apache tribe, but they say these issues stretch across state lines and hit really close to home for those who are indigenous here in Colorado.
A lot of us were very moved, of course. I have a 14-year-old daughter, and to see something so horrific happen, I know that it was very impactful to us. With the Native communities, the things that we really try to foster is uplifting our youth and protecting them.
As of this weekend, law enforcement in Arizona told our sister station Phoenix there are no persons of interest or any arrests made so far in Emily's case. In the studio, Angeline McCall, 9 News.
Your heart just goes out to her family. Angeline, thanks for sharing their story.
Well, you might have noticed it got a little bit darker a little later tonight, thanks to daylight savings time, of course. Tonight was the first 7 p.m. sunset of the year here in Colorado. A beautiful day for it as well. Just a beautiful day to get outside and enjoy that extra hour of sunlight. Corey Reppenhagen's joining us this evening. And Corey, there's going to be a whole lot more where that came from. It's nice for the next couple days.
Yeah, exactly. Tonight we got that bonus hour of really nice sunshine. We picked a good day this time to spring the clocks forward and get that extra hour. Tomorrow, even warmer by a few degrees into the 70s. It's a mild evening here in Denver right now, 56 degrees here at the 9 News studios after a really warm day. This is the box score, the weather box score. The official temperature 68 degrees at Denver International Airport, a good 15 degrees warmer than the average. And our low temperature this morning was very close to that average low temperature of 26 degrees. Here is your forecast for tomorrow. You'll notice a few things here. A little bit more clouds coming through the area here, mostly lenticulars over the foothills and some high clouds not having too much impact. Temperatures getting up there into the 70s. Also in the afternoon, we'll notice a few gusty winds as we go through the afternoon hours. I'll have more details on that coming up in the full forecast.
Boy, that looks like a nice forecast.
I'll take it.
What does he say? Just beautiful. Okay, so there's some big pros and cons to daylight saving time. You lose the sleep, you get the more daylight.
I think we all felt the cons when we were waking up this morning. 9 News reporter Rachel Krause joins us now. And Rachel, doctors say that turning the clocks forward also has some pretty big cons for our health.
Yeah, research from the American College of Cardiology found the Monday after we spring forward, heart attacks rise. For one woman in Centennial, daylight savings is now a day she'll never forget.
Yeah, it was crazy.
For Jennifer Poole, turning the clocks back for daylight savings has her turning over memories from last year.
Yeah, tomorrow will actually be a year exactly, March 10th.
Poole first felt her arm go tingly. She thought it had fallen asleep.
The tingling started getting worse, and then I started feeling burning right here in my throat. So I went upstairs to get some Tums, and the next thing I know, I'm on the floor. And my husband comes up. I don't even know how much time passed, a few minutes. I was not able to really speak. I was as limp as a noodle. And so he thought I was having a stroke.
Jennifer was having a SCAD heart attack, where a piece of her artery wall spontaneously tore.
I didn't present symptoms like what you see on TV. Oh, crushing chest pains and falling over, I can't breathe. You know, it was none of that. For me, it literally happened the day after we turned our clocks ahead.
Dr. Daniel Aliesh, a cardiologist with South Denver Cardiology, says Jennifer's story is more common than you might think.
We know that there is a higher risk of not only heart attack, but also stroke around the time of daylight savings.
Data from the American College of Cardiology shows the Monday after we spring forward, heart attacks jump 25%. Dr. Aliesh says strokes rise 8%.
Circadian rhythm and good quality sleep, which is a huge part of cardiovascular health, decreases the risk of metabolic syndrome, as well as decreases the risk of inflammation leading to these unstable plaques which cause heart attack and stroke. Really, as important as having good diet and exercise is getting good quality sleep.
1 year later, Jennifer's feeling better than ever. She's urging others not to ignore concerning or strange symptoms and take care of yourself.
Sometimes being a mom and a teacher, I didn't necessarily prioritize myself over my own family and students. And now it's a non-negotiable. I have to take care of myself. You know, I don't want a reoccurrence of this. So.
Dr. Aliesh says in terms of prevention, exposure to natural light helps a lot. That plus good sleep hygiene and other healthy habits. Heart attacks can present in a lot of ways, from pressure in your heart that radiates through your jaw and down your arm. For women, nausea and shortness of breath can be very common. Dr. Aliesh says tomorrow and Tuesday are big days to pay close attention to your heart health. And if you think you're having a heart attack, seek help immediately. Rachel Krause, 9 News.
Rachel, thank you. Nebraska State Patrol says they have found a man suspected of a deadly shooting here in Denver this weekend. The shooting happened just before midnight last night on South Vine Street, a couple blocks from University Boulevard. Denver police say a man was shot and killed. And then early this morning, Nebraska State troopers say they spotted Augustine Vega driving on I-80. When they eventually stopped the car, they found him and a woman inside the car, both unresponsive. They were both taken to the hospital. The woman died. DPD says the victim in Denver and Vega knew each other. They're still trying to figure out what exactly led up to that shooting.
People in Denver today rallied to support Ukraine. U.S. and Ukrainian officials are preparing to meet in Saudi Arabia this week. But after the contentious Oval Office meeting between President Donald Trump and President Vladimir Zelensky, it's not yet clear that they'll be able to reach a deal. NBC News reports that President Trump has privately told aides a signed mineral deal will not be enough to restart aid and intelligence to Ukraine. He has said he wants to see a change in Zelensky's attitude towards peace talks with Russia. That has left Ukrainians in Colorado and around the country nervous that the cooling relationship between the countries could ultimately affect thousands of Ukrainian refugees.
I think this is the moment when Ukrainian refugees should decide their future. But they scary and feel scared, and they feel fear right now for their kids. This is 100%. But they should decide where and when their future should be. This is the moment.
Congressional Republicans are putting pressure on the White House to restart both aid and intelligence for Ukraine, and some are optimistic that could be restored as early as next week.
A charitable giveaway in Lafayette today took a bit of a smelly turn. People filled buckets and truck beds with as much free bison manure as they could fit. This giveaway came out of a partnership between CSU and a nonprofit serving indigenous communities. The manure will be used as fertilizer, and what's left over from today will be sent to native tribes across the country. Bison are an important part of indigenous culture. Every part of the animal has a purpose, even the poop.
The poop regenerates not only Unjimaka, Grandmother Earth, but also, makes the soil rich and for growing with all the natural foods that we eat on Earth.
Our crews who were out there today said the line to get manure was like an hour plus long. One person told them growing vegetables can get really expensive, so events like this are important. Another person said that manure supports her food garden. Very popular.